Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and in this video we are checking out the XK-Glo fifth wheel light with the turn signal, brake, and reverse light functions fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos. Now, accessory lighting can be incredibly functional for a build, especially when you have a lot of it, and that's exactly what this fifth wheel light will do if you're searching for better rear end visibility and a very bold look for the back of your Bronco. Now, this is going to be tailored to the Bronco owner who wants more than just a single or dual light strip behind the wheel and wants to make that spare light the main event, filling the wheel and making a statement with not only the brake light functions, but other light features as well. Now, this will come with 240 red LEDs and 144 white LED chips, which will be more than enough to light up the spare and make an impact on your safety, considering that you really can't miss this when it's on. Now, the main function of this light is using it as a third brake light, so naturally it's going to illuminate the 240 red LEDs for the running light and brake light functions, and will use the red for the turn signal. However, that's where things get a little different when it comes to the function. Now, each side of this is going to blink in a sequential or a chasing pattern, working from the inner part of the light outward, creating a very noticeable signal to anybody behind you, undoubtedly helping with your current turn signals. Now, along with the addition of the turn signal, this also has the additional reverse light, which is where those 144 white LED chips come into play. And as you can imagine, these are going to do a great job of providing clear and bright visibility out of the back end of your Bronco. Now, that's going to drastically help your taillights where they need it most, which is going to give you a little bit more confidence when backing up at night. Now, this light's going to have a pretty solid construction, and it's going to be made of a couple different materials, but all of those are going to be made well to endure the elements when it's mounted up on your Bronco. Now, starting off with the mounting plate, the center here where this lug pattern is going to be made of a plastic material, but on the back, if we turn this around, this is going to have an aluminum construction on the back of the lights, which will help with the rigidity to avoid any movement when it is mounted up, but it's also going to help with heat management to keep all 384 of those lights running efficiently over time. Now, the inner part of this housing is going to be black, and the impact-resistant polycarbonate lens on the front will have a very light smoke to it, which isn't going to hinder the lighting at all. It's just going to work really well with that black housing to create a darker aesthetic. It's going to stay pretty subtle behind the wheel when it's off. Now, the housing and the lens will also have a solid seal to them with a water and dust proof IP67 rating, and thanks to that, as well as the long lifespan of an LED because of their efficiency, you can expect these to hold up for a very long time. This will also come with all of the wiring that is necessary in order to get this running properly, and the hitch plug wire that you do get in the kit also has some protective sheathing on it to make sure that all those wires are protected when they're mounted up outside of the Bronco. Now, this will cost you right around the $200 mark, which will be a little bit more than the average spare tire or fifth wheel light, but for good reason. Now, across the board, this will have a considerable amount of LEDs compared to the more affordable choices that may only consist, again, of that single or dual ring option, compared to this one, which is going to fill the entire wheel. This will also have the additional functions with the chasing or sequential turn signal, as well as the reverse light capabilities that are going to illuminate white compared to some other choices, which will be well worth those extra couple dollars if you want to take your third brake lighting a step further with the function and the styling. Now, install here is again going to require some wiring. You have some additional leads coming off of the back of the light, in addition to that hitch plug here for the brake and all the additional functions that you get with this light. But all in all, it is going to be fairly simple. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should only take about 45 minutes to get this fully mounted and wired up. Now, I do want to mention that the Bronco models without the towing package and separate turn signals will have to sacrifice that running light feature. However, everything else as far as the features can be accounted for. Now, at this point, I'm going to pass you over to one of our installers. They are going to show you how all of this goes down step by step when it comes to the install. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and hop into it.
For this install, you need a ratchet, extension, a 10 and 8mm socket, clip removal tool, wire connectors, wire crimpers, trim panel removal tool, and zip ties. All right, today we're going to be installing a fifth wheel light in our Bronco, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is get our spare tire off. Now we have aftermarket wheels with aftermarket lugs, so we're gonna be using our wheel lock key. You would probably use, I forget what the factory size is, probably a 19 or 21 millimeter socket. We're gonna take our 3 lugs off here. And we could just lift our spare off and set it off on the side. Now we're gonna grab our light and put it over our studs here. You wanna make sure that the wiring harness comes out at the bottom so that the turn signals function properly. So we'll set that on. We're gonna grab all of our wire. We're gonna feed it up through the bottom of our spare tire mount here. And then over to the side. Now you can run yours however you want. We're gonna run ours through our grommet right here. Now you can just pull this out. You would want to modify your grommet so that you can fit the wires through and then get a nice watertight seal. You do not want water getting in there. We're not going to modify ours permanently. But we're just going to grab all of our wires and just feed them through. Got our white, our blue, and then our main harness connector. And once we open the tailgate, we can pull these the rest of the way through to pull all the slack through. So let's open our tailgate and go into the inside. Now we have our tailgate open. We're gonna pull off both of these panels here. We're gonna grab our trim panel removal tool. Just get behind and pop them off. Now this one has 3 tabs securing it on the inside, and then 2 that just lock in on the side. And then this cover, just get behind it. You'll see all the tabs securing it. You see we have a few broken here. You wouldn't have those, but just be careful. Now we have all of our wires here, as you see. We'll pull our slack through. Now the blue wire we can just leave tucked in here because we are not going to be using that. You only use that if you run into any issues with the light functioning. We already tested ours. Our light works properly. If you have any issues that need to get run to the fuse box, to a fused 12-volt source. So we pulled all that through. Now we're gonna feed our main power wire and white wire through this here to run with this wiring harness here. So that's simply, you just reach through like that. And then you can do the same thing with the white wire. Our white wire will be wired into our tail light for our reverse. Now we can put this cover back on, and then we can run this. If you want, you can secure this with zip ties. We're just gonna tuck it behind and put our cover back on and have it running out over here. Put this cover on first. Just have that tuck in like that, secure on the inside, this one. And we have that running out the side here. For our main connector, it's gonna go to our trailer hitch. We're actually gonna run that down the side here. We're gonna secure it to this harness here, but we'll do that after we get our tail light out and wire that in. But we're gonna run it behind the hinge here, behind our bumper, and then pull through. Now you can secure yours however you want underneath. So make sure it stays away from anything hot, especially because the exhaust is right there. You want to go underneath the bumper and just secure it up out of the way with zip ties, however you want. Just make sure you leave enough slack so that when opening and closing the tailgate, you do not have any issues. So we're gonna come and we can plug it in to our trailer hitch right here. And then what you want to do is just bunch up the extra. You can go ahead and tuck it up underneath the bumper here. So now I just have the extra bunched up here. And we're just going to tuck ours up behind our bumper. You do want to make sure that you secure yours out of the way, because you do not want this falling down. It's just going to take a couple of zip ties to do that. But once we have this all up out of the way, we can go get our reverse light wired in. So to get our tail light out, first thing we have to do is take this cover off. So we have 4 push clips, 1, 2, 3, and 1 up here. We'll grab our clip removal tool and take those out. these are all breaking. We can get them replaced. Now we have two 10mm bolts here and here. We'll grab a ratchet 10mm socket, take those two out. And this whole cover should come out. Next, we need to release our fender flare from our body. Now they're very simple. There is just a couple tabs in here that you just flip the other way, and it will release them, and you can just pull off. There's no bolts included. You can see right here, you just have a handle here that turns that. And we're gonna go here and pull back on our body panel. I'll pry that up. At the bottom here, you'll see another 10mm bolt that will allow us to take this other half of the trim off. Pull on that. And allow access to the two 8mm bolts in here. Before we do that, we have another 10mm bolt over here, mounting for the headlight or tail light. For our two 8mm bolts here, we're just gonna grab an extension and our 8mm socket and take those two out. And we can take our whole tail light out. We're just gonna push down our tab, pull our connector off, and now we can access our wiring to wire in our reverse light. So now we have our wiring harness for our factory light here. Now I did check the wiring diagram, so we are looking for a green wire with a brown stripe. So I'm gonna grab a T-tap. This simply just clamps over the wire like so. And pinch that down. And how we're gonna connect our wire is with a spade connector that's simply just gonna plug in the back here like so. But let's get that on the end of our wire. Now you can cut this short if you want, just to clean up the wiring a little bit. We're not gonna cut ours short. We're just gonna secure the extra away. It's already stripped back. So we're just gonna slide that over our connector and grab our crimpers and crimp that down. And just plug that in the back. And then I would go ahead and make sure that it functions properly, and then we can reinstall our taillight. So I'm just bunching up the extra here and just grabbing a zip tie, just help secure this out of the way so we can fit our taillight back in. Just cut off the extra here. We're gonna plug our taillight back in. And then secure it back in place. Tuck that wiring away, and we can go ahead and get our two 8mm bolts back in. So we're gonna put our two 8mm bolts back in. Gonna grab our extension and socket and just get them started so you don't drop them. And grab a ratchet and tighten them down. So we're gonna put our 10mm bolt for our mounting point over here back in. Then we can start reinstalling our trim pieces too. So this one goes on first. Just line up the tabs. And then we have our 10mm bolt at the bottom here. And then we have our last trim piece. Make sure to pull back on the wheel arch. Snap that back in place. Put your fender flare back in place. So you'll see the two tabs that we took off here and here. Just gonna line them up and then turn them to secure them. Now we're gonna get our trim piece back in place. Just fish it around your wiring here. Just make sure you have enough slack in that white wire. Get everything in place. So we'll install our 4 push clips. Now I did grab replacement ones. They're a little tight, not exactly the right size, but they'll work. And then we just have our two 10mm bolts on the inside here. We have our two 10mm bolts. I'll thread those in. Grab our ratchet and tighten them down. Then again here, you can, if you want, zip tie these harnesses to the main wiring harness here. We're just gonna leave ours loose for right now. Then we can close our tailgate and get our spare tire back on. Now we're just gonna get our spare tire back on. Just wanna again mention this. Now you see we have our grommet loose here. You would need to modify yours by just cutting a little notch so that you can fit all the wires and secure it back in place. We're gonna get our spare tire back over. Get our lug nuts back on and tighten it down.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the XK Glow fifth wheel light with the sequential turn signal, brake, and reverse light functions, fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos, and you can find this right here at extremeterrain.com.